what's up guys, Aarava here, and welcome back to another video with some F1 2019 exclusive gameplay here. I was invited to the Codemasters HQ earlier this week to record for about an hour, so not too long, but enough to record a fair few variety of gameplay videos here. So in today's video, we're going to be driving, as you can see by the title, the Alfa Romeo racing car of Kimi Räikkönen around the French GP, Paul Ricard. We uploaded a video earlier today on the channel, which was Charles Leclerc and his Ferrari around the Monaco GP, so be sure to go check that video out if you haven't seen that one already. But in this video, it's a race video again around Paul Ricard. I would say the racing part of the actual video is a bit better than we got at Monaco, because Monaco always is tight and twisty, difficult to even try and make a pass anyway, let alone with the setup I had at the Codemasters HQ, which I mentioned that video was a Fanatec and a play seat, which I'm not really that comfortable with. That's not how I drive at home. I usually drive sat up on a normal desk chair with a Thrustmaster wheel, so it wasn't ideal conditions to really show off what the true racing was like, to be honest, because I wasn't fully comfortable with driving the cars whilst I was recording, and like I said, limited time to record, so I couldn't really faff around with, you know, trying to get comfy. I just had to go in and record the gameplay, and I got what I got, basically. But I think this video with the racing around Paul Ricard shows off the AI a little bit better, the aggression they have, the wheel-to-wheel racing you can have, and just basically shows off the interaction with the AI a bit better. And so let's hit the race intros before we hit the track. You'll notice Paul Ricard itself also has been touched up quite a fair bit this year. Of course, last year was the first time Paul Ricard was in the F1 games by Codemasters, so this year, second year on, they've had time to really analyze the track properly, the data, and take more photos of the circuit and kind of get the details a little bit better. And so the track has been modified slightly. You'll see in a few corners as well to better mimic real life.
It's a great day for racing here at Le Castellet, and the drivers are making their final preparations on the grid. Let's hope for a thrilling contest then here at the French Grand Prix. The circuit Paul Ricard then, a 3.6 mile track, 25 miles east of Marseille. 15 corners here, 6 to the left and 9 to the right, with the main overtaking chance expected going into turn 8. Top speeds today should be around 205 miles per hour. Anthony Davison joins me today, and looking very chirpy as well, it must be said. And by your smile, I'm guessing you're anticipating a good race today.
I always get like this when it comes to race day, Crofty, you should know that. I do think we're in for an extra exciting one today though, that's for sure. The current lineup of drivers are all super competitive, and with the recent upgrades being made by some of the teams, who knows how today will play out.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Pierre.
Right, so we're going to dive straight into the gameplay then here with the Alfa Romeo racing car of Kimi Räikkönen. Another note, obviously, this is one of the cars where the full car has not been modelled yet for the full release of the game. This is the 2019 spec car with the Alfa Romeo racing livery draped on top of it there. So the chassis is actually the exact same as the Ferrari gameplay you would have seen at Monaco. But here we go then to 5 red lights, and we're underway from P17 here for a 3-lap race around Paul Ricard. And like I said, hopefully with a bit more of an open layout at the track, you'll be able to see the AI racing a little bit harder against each other, and also me as well. You can see I got surprised here around the outside by the Williams car, trying to make a pass there, Robbie Kubica there. So again, like I said, driving on a Fanatec wheel, the play seat wasn't ideal, wasn't my usual setup, so I was definitely taking it very easy into the brake zones compared to what I might have done on a normal home setup of mine. So maybe the AI had a jump on me that way into the corners, but then here you can see I made a nice move, 3-car move, nearly a 3-car move on the cars ahead of me, but then the Renault gets round the outside. I couldn't get the traction down as early as Hulkenberg then, and he's got ahead of us. I'm going to try and re-overtake him maybe down the straight. We're going to play around with the fuel loads and the ERS. Obviously, the actual buttons themselves and the way you map them on the heads-up display is all the same as last year, so you've still got rich mix, stand mixture, and low mixture, and the ERS modes are still the 5 usual modes of none, low, medium, high, overtake, and hot lap there. But like I said in the Monaco video, I did notice they were a lot more excessive in terms of how slow or fast they speed you up here. And here you can see some great racing, full commitment there, just a little lift off to go down the inside of Hulkenberg there. Great racing, but he comes back at me here. So it's still side by side with the Renault. He's still there in the mirrors and the proximity tower. He squeezes me through, gets the downforce, of course, because the Renault will have a little bit better downforce than the Alfa Romeo car at this stage. Obviously, the devs are still tweaking the car performances, so this isn't the final performance. Obviously, you can see on the top of the screen, work in progress. Doesn't just mean also the graphics and the modeling. Also means stuff like the AI is still being tweaked and the performances of the cars are still being tweaked. So in this build of the game, the Alfa Romeo racing car was a little bit slower compared to the midfield cars of the Renault and the Racing Point, whereas in real life we've seen it kind of bobbing up and down, sometimes being faster than those cars. But in this case, Hulkenberg had enough downforce to actually get around the outside, and that was good to see, to be fair, because I think in 2018 there would have been a good chance I would have been able to squeeze him out completely and would have been able to get the racing line, but instead he did me. And here you're about to see a massive dive bomb from Kvyat there, very, very aggressive. We lock up on the front right, and that really surprised me at the time there. I was very taken aback. I tried to make a switchback move work. It kind of half maybe could have worked if there was a straight next, but we had to lift off and then get through this next right-hander, and so we cut away next to the back end of the main straight. We're going to make a diving move, but Kvyat goes very defensive there, chops me off, and so I found the AI very aggressive in this race, indeed, around Paul Ricard. So I was quite happy compared to Monaco. You're able to see really how kind of, just pouncy the AI are if you give them a sniff. And you can see here the Williams car also tries around down the inside because I'm down to low ERS mode. You can see I've used a lot of my ERS, the yellow bar there, and so I had to try and save some ERS for the next final lap of the race. But like I said, that meant that I was very much down on power and acceleration at the corners, because this year I felt the modelling has made the ERS very important, basically, and Kubica gets me around the outside because I found that corner very awkward, just as I do on F1 2018, that left-hander off camber, very tricky to get the nose in there, and so the Williams has done me, and so that's probably the only Williams overtake we've seen the entire season from 2019, so I've done him a favour there. But we dive down the inside, get the elbows out a little bit, and now in a straight line try and get past him there. You can see DRS enabled now, and again pointing out the kind of more realistic logos they're using for the heads-up display. But now we've made the move, we're going to stick through into the racing line into turn 1, and we're up into P16. But you can see Giovinazzi's way back there, also fighting the Williams car, so very much in this build, the Alfa Romeo, this is kind of where the pace was of the car, a little bit lower down than the other midfield guys compared to maybe what we've seen in real life, so kind of realistic in a way of me struggling to maybe get any further up the road than this, to be honest. But again, like I said, with the intros, you would have seen, the graphic fidelity has been picked up a lot more in this game, and Paul Ricard especially. Certain tracks have been really worked on, like Monaco, like this track. You might have seen in the cutscene intros the kind of French flag flailing about, which I thought really showed off the step up they've made for this year's game, because I don't think you would have seen such kind of physics of a flag, basically, and just how good it looked flailing about in last year's game. And you can see some of the corners have been changed in terms of their angles as well. I feel like the left-hander kink as you go onto the main back straight has definitely been changed and kind of shallowed up a little bit more as it was compared to 2018, because they've kind of got that bit more realistic. And the modelling, the same thing with the last corner, I feel like they've changed it a little bit. It's a bit less tight than it was in 2018 as they try to improve it as much as they can, make it as realistic as they can. But we come through then, not the best result obviously, but a good chance to show off the AI a bit better in terms of how aggressive they are. But like I said, my driving per se wasn't as fast as it usually would be at home due to the kind of awkwardness of me playing on a place seat and a Fanatec. But nonetheless, a good chance to show you guys off the Alfa Romeo racing car on board, and also the Paul Ricard circuit in its new configuration here on the F1 2019 game. And now we can see some replay cameras, and again you can see the step up they made in terms of the way the light bounces off. I feel like it looks that little bit more natural, I think, especially down here. You can see the way the light kind of goes through with the cast of the shadow and on the front of the cars. If you compare it to 2018, it's not massively different here at Paul Ricard. Like I said in the Monaco video, I think it gets shown off a lot more with the floodlights, and when you have kind of artificial lighting being put into the game, whereas the natural lighting is a little bit harder to actually see a massive change. But it definitely has been tweaked a lot, and you can see the way the tyre sheens and the lockups are a bit more pronounced. I think they've definitely improved in that kind of aspect for the game. And when it comes to handling, again, it was hard to really tell. The only thing I could really concretely say is, for me at least, it seemed like the lockups were a little bit easy to do. Traction also seemed a little bit difficult, but that could have maybe been the Fanatec pedal compared to what I'm used to with the Thrustmaster one, so don't take the word on that. We're not really, I'm not really at the point where I can definitely say they've changed the way the throttle gets on or anything like that. It might have been the ERS, or maybe just the change from a Ferrari car to an Alfa Romeo racing car, to be honest. But guys, that's been another gameplay from F1 2018. We've got 2 more gameplay videos coming tomorrow, so keep your eyes peeled for that. So if you are new around here, you can subscribe for that video. But if you did enjoy this one, be sure to hit that like button and let me know what you thought of this one. Visually speaking, also what you made of the kind of AI, the dive bomb from the Toro Rosso and the fighting back of the Renault in the comments below. But yeah, that's been another F1 2019 exclusive gameplay video, guys. Once again, massive thank you to Codemasters for letting me capture this gameplay here. It wasn't a lot, an hour, but it was enough, and it's better than nothing really on the channel there for sure. So if you're on your own here, once again, do get subscribed. I'll see you guys next time. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.